Welcome back to our channel, guys. Today is a phenomenal day to dive into the absolute madness brewing behind the gates of our favorite community. We have so much to unpack right now, and if you ask me, the tectonic plates of this neighborhood are shifting in ways we never expected. No one saw this coming, but the private open mic night at Nicole's house just turned into ground zero for some major emotional revelations and potentially dangerous new alliances. We all knew this gathering was meant to be a simple, supportive evening for Noah, but it quickly morphed into a high stakes chessboard. When Noah and Deanna finally arrived to meet Vanessa, Nicole, and the rest of the family before the big performance, the tension in the room was thick enough to cut with a knife. Noah was visibly a nervous wreck, pacing and second guessing every single chord progression in his head. But then something incredible happened. Deanna stepped up, pulling out that lucky guitar cable she gifted him, and you could physically see the anxiety melt off his shoulders. It seems that this tiny, superstitious gesture was exactly the anchor he needed to ground himself in that chaotic moment. Now, let us pause and really look at Deanna for a second, because there is a strong chance she is playing a very dangerous game. We know she has been waging total psychological warfare against Joey to avenge her father, but watching her soothe Noah's frayed nerves felt entirely genuine. What if this fake it till you make it romance is actually turning into something real? She looked at him with such intense, unfiltered affection that it completely masked the bitter, vengeful woman we have seen lurking in the shadows lately. This could mean her carefully constructed armor is finally cracking, and Noah is the very wedge driving right through it. If you ask me, Deanna is standing on a massive precipice right now. She is desperately trying to balance her thirst for vengeance against Joey with this sudden, blinding rush of young love. But how long can she keep those two worlds from violently colliding? When Noah finally took the makeshift stage in Nicole's living room, the atmosphere shifted instantly. He did not just sing a song, he bared his entire soul to a room full of heavy hitters. Noah openly shared that his original track was deeply inspired by the tragic loss of his mother, a wound that clearly still bleeds for him and Kial. But the real kicker, the moment that made everyone in that room hold their breath, was when he dedicated the performance to the person who made him believe that love is actually worth the risk. He was looking dead at Deanna when he said it. The raw vulnerability in his voice was staggering, and the subsequent applause wasn't just polite clapping, it was a roaring, genuine validation of his raw talent. It seems that Noah just cemented his place not only in the music scene, but right in the tangled web of this powerful family. But guys, the most shocking reaction of the night did not come from Deanna or Kiel. It came from the matriarch herself, Anita. We all know Anita is royalty in this town, a woman who has survived health scares and family scandals with absolute grace. She was utterly mesmerized by Noah's performance. After the applause died down, Anita pulled Noah aside and started reminiscing about the very early gritty gigs of the Articulettes. She looked into this young man's eyes and gave him the kind of golden advice you cannot buy. She told him to always perform as if the stage he is standing on is the most important one of his entire life, whether it is a packed stadium or a cozy living room. And then she dropped the ultimate bombshell. Anita officially invited Noah to sit in on her vocal sessions starting next week. This could mean absolutely everything for Noah's future. An offer of mentorship from Anita is like being handed the keys to the kingdom. Noah was visibly vibrating with excitement, entirely starstruck and overwhelmed by the magnitude of this opportunity. What if Anita actually takes him under her wing full time? Nicole is already whispering to Kial that Anita might just elevate Noah to the next level, perhaps even dragging him along on her upcoming tours. There is a strong chance that Noah's struggling artist days are officially over, but we have to wonder what kind of target this paints on his back. Rising so fast in a world dominated by wealth, secrets, and cutthroat ambition is never a smooth ride. If you ask me, Anita sees a spark of her own youthful hunger in Noah, but thrusting him into the spotlight might expose him to the darker elements of their world. While Anita was busy building an empire for the next generation, her husband was trying to assert his dominance in a completely different way. Vernon, ever the fiercely protective patriarch, recognized that Kial is getting incredibly serious about Nicole. Vernon decided this was the perfect moment to corner Kial for one of those classic, intimidating father to boyfriend interrogations. He wanted a straight answer about Kial's ultimate intentions. But before Vernon could even launch into his heavy handed speech, Nicole swooped in and completely shut it down. She intercepted her father with such swift authority that it left Vernon spinning. It seems that Nicole is absolutely done letting her family dictate her romantic life. She is fiercely protective of Kial and their exclusive bubble, and she is not about to let Vernon's overbearing nature ruin the magic of this evening. This interception speaks volumes about where Nicole's head is at right now. She has navigated so much messy drama, especially with the lingering ghosts of her past. But with Kial, she is putting her foot down. Kial, for his part, was completely unfazed by Vernon's looming threat because he was too busy glowing with pride over his son. He turned to Nicole and openly admitted that he has never, ever seen Noah this energized, this passionate, and this full of life. The bond between Kial and Nicole is solidifying rapidly, and this shared joy over Noah's success is acting like superglue for their relationship. What if this is the turning point where Nicole finally gets her happily ever after? But knowing this town, there is a strong chance that someone or something is waiting in the wings to tear their happiness to shreds. Across the room, another fascinating dynamic was unfolding between Vanessa and Joey. Vanessa was watching Deanna with a mix of absolute awe and profound relief. She leaned over to Joey and pointed out that Deanna has never looked this genuinely happy in her entire life. Vanessa is convinced that Deanna is so completely infatuated and swept up in this romance with Noah that she will finally drop all her suspicions and stop snooping into their business. It seems that Vanessa is desperately clinging to this narrative because she is terrified of what Deanna might uncover. But guys, we know the truth. We know Joey is hiding catastrophic secrets about the death of Deanna's father, not to mention his terrifying ties to the International Plasma Ring and his ruthless sister. If you ask me, Vanessa is living in a total fantasy world right now. There is a strong chance that Deanna's happiness is just a temporary lull in a massive impending storm. What if Deanna is using this newfound love as a way to recharge before launching her final devastating strike against Joey? Joey stood there nodding along with Vanessa, but you could see the cold calculation in his eyes. He knows that a distracted enemy is a vulnerable enemy, but he also knows that the ghosts of the past never stay buried forever. This could mean that Joey will actively encourage this relationship, perhaps even manipulating things behind the scenes to keep Noah and Deanna occupied while he deals with his own massive problems. But what happens when Noah inevitably gets caught in the crossfire of this deadly family feud? As the incredible night began to wind down, The emotional connections only deepened. We saw Kial and Deanna sharing a surprisingly quiet, poignant moment, sitting together at the kitchen counter. Kial looked at this woman who has completely captivated his son and offered her a deeply sincere thank you. He thanked Deanna for being the catalyst that helped Noah have such a monumental, unforgettable night. It was a beautiful moment of unspoken understanding between a protective father and the woman who is holding his son's heart. It seems that Kial is fully endorsing this relationship, completely unaware of the dark, vengeful baggage Deanna is dragging behind her. What if Kial's blessing is the very thing that makes Deanna realize she has too much to lose if she continues her war against Joey? And then in another corner of the house, Noah pulled Nicole aside to express his own profound gratitude. He thanked Nicole for opening her home, for saving the day when the official open mic fell through, and for giving him this incredible platform. But it was the look in Noah's eyes that really told the whole story. He looked at Nicole, then looked over at his father, and you could see the absolute joy radiating from him. Noah is genuinely thrilled that Kiel has finally found the right person. He sees how Nicole grounds his father, how she protects him from Vernon's grilling, and how seamlessly they all fit together. There is a strong chance that Noah is finally feeling a sense of true family and stability that he has been craving for years. Let us dive a little deeper into what Anita's offer actually represents. The Articulates were not just some flash in the pan group, they were a cultural phenomenon that required blood, sweat, and absolute perfection. Anita knows exactly what it takes to survive in an industry that loves to chew up and spit out young talent. By offering to let Noah sit in on her vocal sessions, she is not just giving him a voice lesson, she is offering to teach him the brutal art of survival. This could mean that Anita sees a vulnerability in Noah that she wants to armor up before the world gets its hooks into him. But we also have to wonder how Vernon feels about his wife pouring her precious energy into Kiel's son. Vernon is all about legacy and protecting his own bloodline, so watching Anita invest so heavily in an outsider might just rub him the wrong way, adding another layer of tension to his already strained dynamic with Kiel. And we absolutely cannot ignore the massive internal war raging inside Deanna right now. She has spent weeks meticulously plotting against Joey, using her father's ghost to drive him to the brink of insanity. She is a woman consumed by a toxic need for retribution, yet sitting there at the counter, accepting Kial's heartfelt thanks, she looked entirely at peace. What if this relationship with Noah is the universe offering her a final exit ramp off the highway to self-destruction? There is a strong chance that Deanna is realizing that you cannot hold onto a burning coal of hatred without burning your own hand. But Joey is not the type of man to just let things go. If he senses that Deanna is softening, he might use Noah as leverage to neutralize her completely. It seems that the stakes have never been higher, and this beautiful night of music might just be the prelude to the most devastating emotional war this town has ever seen. This entire evening felt like a massive, intricate tapestry of families blending together in unexpected ways. You have Noah stepping into the spotlight under Anita's legendary wing. You have Nicole fiercely defending Kial from Vernon's old school patriarchal tactics. You have Deanna finding a glimmer of pure light in Noah amidst her dark quest for revenge against Joey. And you have Vanessa desperately hoping that love will conquer all the ugly secrets she is trying to ignore. It seems that for one brief, shining night, the music actually washed away the sins of this town. But if you ask me, this level of pure happiness is incredibly dangerous in a world built on lies and manipulation. The higher these characters soar, the harder the inevitable fall is going to be. We are looking at a powder keg just waiting for a spark. Noah is riding the highest high of his life, armed with Anita's mentorship and Deanna's love. But what happens when Anita's grueling vocal sessions push him to the brink? What happens when Vernon decides he isn't finished investigating Kial's background? And most terrifyingly, what happens when Noah discovers that the beautiful, supportive woman who gave him that lucky cable is actually locked in a psychological death match with a dangerous casino boss? No one saw this coming, but Noah's innocent rise to stardom might just be the very thing that triggers the ultimate collapse of everyone around him. Will this newfound love and success be enough to shield them from the incoming wreckage, or is Noah just a pawn in a much darker, deadlier game that is about to explode right in their faces?